All right, dog. I would say before we get into this intro, I feel like I'm going to rant, but I'm not going to rant. But I love everything that Scottie's doing, bro. He's a dog. He's hitting some achievements that a lot of players will never hit. He's consistent. I love that he loves the Lord. He's boastful in that. But, dog, someone challenge him, bro, because it is so boring to watch.
That's why we need live golfers back.
Yeah, bro, it's so boring. But anyways, guys, welcome back to Golf and Gospel Pod with the homie Nate Wong, the best PT in the state of Arizona. And we're here to talk golf, man. If it's PGA, LPGA, live golf, and even if I want to shout out my homegirls on the Epson Tour, we're here to break down golf. But also, guys, please like, subscribe, rate us on Spotify. Tell us if we're trash, like, hey, this podcast is trash, I need to do better. Or tell us if we're locked in, bro, we're doing well, man. Any feedback helps a lot, man. But, Nate, let's just jump straight into the Memorial Championship, man. I first want to talk about the course itself. Last week, we talked about how this is the 5th longest course on tour. But this week, it really wasn't about just bombing it off the tee. Only 4 players averaged over 300 yards, which were Ludvig Aberg, Minwoo Lee, Cam Young, and Xander Schauffele. From your recollection of watching the match, what do you think the keys to success were this weekend?
Dude, I think it was putting. Like especially when they were showing the highlights, it just seemed like as long as it was on the green, it was going to drop for Scottie, you know?
Yeah.
And he obviously won. I think that course you have to be a little bit strategic because there's like creeks and stuff that go through the middle of the fairway, and if you just hit it long, those troubling things can get into play. So you have to be a little strategic off the tee. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, the putting, and the same thing with the LPGA, the putting is what determined the winner. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think one thing you had said was obviously just getting on the green. I think that was really the deciding factor, bro. So obviously I looked into it because, again, 5th longest course. I'm thinking like, okay, off the tee being long is going to be huge here. But that wasn't the case. But we see the key was approach shots and green regulations. And yes, you can say that about any course, but there was there were various amounts of like climatic issues, man. It rained one day, it was windy one day. One day it was a little chilly, the other day it was good. So it was really about these approach shots, man. So the top green and reg percentages came from these 4 golfers. And if we go back and look where they placed, it makes sense. Ben Griffin, who obviously we'll get into, finished second. Scottie, who finished first, obviously. Nick Taylor, who was, I believe, finished T6 or T5. Yes. And Russell Henley, I think he had T6 or T5. So all those guys were in the higher ratings than green and reg percentages. The field average at the time that I looked at this hovered around 54 to 55, but those guys were 64%. And you see they were all like in the top 5. Wow. And I think Sepp Straka, who was up there too, I think he finished like T7 or something. So all the top guys besides, I think, one, Shane Lowry had a bunch of green and regs, but his putting hasn't been really that good all year. It was the deciding factor here. And again, I think it does make sense too. Like if it's raining, windy, it's like we just got to get on the green. Obviously, the green structure does change due to weather, but those guys is what really separate the field. Now, a question for you, obviously as a former college golfer, for people that maybe want to get into golf or beginning golfers, man, how important is it you kind of dial in your wedges and your irons when starting off in the game of golf?
Dude, I mean, for a long time, I thought irons was the most important thing, and now it's obviously, I think if anyone knows anything about golf, it's like wedges. Wedges are the most important thing in golf. For a long time, I thought irons were the most important thing because that's why Tiger was so good. Is he was so good with his irons, and it felt like he can control the ball with his mind when he has an iron in his hand. And that's why Scottie is so good now. Like we kind of feel the same way about Scottie. When he hits an iron shot, we think he's low-key controlling the ball with his mind. So, yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, irons are so important. You want to be able to score, too, when you get into, like, these higher levels of golf.
Scoring clubs,
and Yeah, and those clubs, most par four, like most holes you play are par fours, and even then, par threes are going to be 180 to 220 ish.
Yeah.
And if you can put yourself in a position to score, you're going to have a good chance to contribute to your team in college golf. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like those especially the good college teams, they don't want you bringing in black scores. They want you getting red or green scores. So
Yeah, that makes sense, bro.
I think
when you talk about, when we see a lot of guys, they want to go to the range, and first thing is like, oh, let's pull out this driver. Let's pull out the 3-wood. Now, granted,
it's called the driving range. So.
Yeah.
So you got to pull out the driver.
Touche. But I think if you really want to get good at golf, bro, those clubs are important. You don't want to be in trouble off the tee. You don't want to be losing strokes, going out of OB and stuff like that, and have to teeing up again. I think you do work on those things, but for the most part, the majority of the clubs that you're using are your irons and wedges. And like I said, it played true here at the Memorial at Murfield Golf Course. But I do want to kind of switch clubs here, talk about some putting stuff. As you see the one-hand putt Tony Finau made?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your thoughts about that, doing that in competition?
Dude, I don't know. Like I just saw it after the fact. I didn't see it live, obviously.
I didn't either. They weren't really featuring him like that.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if because he just wasn't really in contention, but they said that he was not doing well with his putting, and that's why he just was like, "Screw this! I'm just gonna hit it one-handed."
Yeah,
and it went in.
Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the only thought I have with that is like, this is just for. Like I tell people this all the time. Like, do you want to do arm lock or how do you want to grip the putter? And like since Finau likes to roll with his right hand, I'm always like, you want to go right hand low if that's kind of your style. Usually, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, what were you gonna say?
Well, no, I'm saying you made a point. So I read, because I was looking for all the information. I'm like, why would Finau do this? So I found a quote that he had on PGA Tour app. He said, I noticed throughout the week I was putting a lot right to left. I made a few strokes with my right hand, felt confident, and I just went for it. So, obviously there's going to be some putting stuff he's going to have to work out, so he doesn't have to naturally keep putting like that. Now, granted, let's say if he's making putts one-handed, who cares? Your scores are low. You're in the red. Good for him. But another question I have for you, bro, again, just your golf acumen and how much you've played throughout your life. Is there a risk of practicing too much one-handed stuff where it can kind of make you like overly dominated? And would that like affect like other swings, like your drive and your irons, because I'm just learning how to do things with one hand? Or are these guys just so skilled that it doesn't even matter? They know how to, control the amount of usage they have with irons and drivers and not let it affect what someone like Tony Finau might do just using one hand with the putter.
That's a good question. I've never thought about it, but just what comes to my mind is like, if someone's in the MLB and let's say they bunt a lot for whatever reason, would that mess with how well they hit it if they were like, I'm going to take a swing? I don't think it would, because they're just, when you make it at that high level, like when you make a big swing or when you hit a driver, it's like riding a bike again. When you're that good.
Yeah.
I think the downside to putting one-handed a bunch is like the lag putts are going to suffer because you want to have both hands on the putter when you're hitting like a further putt, when you have to be a little bit more firm. So I don't think. I mean, if he's going to go short putts and he just wants to putt one-handed, I think that's fine.
Yeah,
I think another option. Is like I don't know if this is called like the reverse claw. I'm not entirely sure what it would be called.
Okay.
But like,
yeah.
So for me, I'm left-handed. I would go left hand low and then right hand on top as a claw, just so I can feel the bottom hand a lot more, and the top hand is just lightly grabbing the putter.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he's going to do something like that. He's just going to change his grip, change his putter, or just change his stroke or whatever. But that could be an option. It's just like, hey, I'm just going to change my grip, still keep two hands on the putter, on the grip, but have my left hand just do a little bit less on the grip. So like a claw with his left hand or something like that.
Yeah, I know at least with Scottie, he does regular grip anywhere, I think, outside of 10 feet, and then he goes claw grip when he gets inside of 10 feet. So maybe Finau could be doing something similar. I mean, let's see if he continues to putt one-handed because I think
Yeah.
he made that putt within 9 feet, which is just crazy to see. Now,
Yeah.
I think he finished +5, which wasn't terrible. But I think putting was the one thing that was hurting him this week.
Yeah.
He was
Scores are high. Yeah.
They were, and I picked him to win too. Like he had a couple good weeks, man. So I had this false hope for Finau.
Yeah.
But yeah, that wasn't the case, obviously.
Dude, I honestly wonder, and this is like would be a question to ask like a tour pro, but it's like, if you're hot one week, does the course change that? Because they're playing such different courses, like different grass. You know, it rains one week, it's dry the next week. Does that change? Or like one course might be super grainy on the greens, and one course might not be. Like Erin Hills looked super grainy.
Yeah.
Like I honestly wonder if it's like if that messes with like how hot a club gets. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good question. I mean, I know at least with football, terrain does play a factor. Like sometimes they're like, hey, we're playing on natural grass this week, guys, so you might want to put in these cleats, your studs.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, we're going to play in Buffalo. It's snowing a lot. You might want to put on these cleats. The weather plays a factor here and so on.
Yeah, it's just like
or
outdoor versus indoor.
Turf versus natural grass. It's a lot of factors. I think that does play a factor in golf. You know, the other thing it just came to my mind, too, when you were talking about, when I asked you the question, like, would a player get too dominant if he just always put it with his right hand? Does that affect other clubs? I know at least in football, like if you become one leg dominant on certain things, like breaks are better on certain sides and in particular routes if you don't even it out with the other side. Like when I train kids out here in Arizona, you know, I'll have them do like a certain route and they'll break really well off their right leg. But then I have them go to the opposite side and off their left leg, they try to overcompensate with their right leg, where maybe the cut's still proficient, but then there's like less timing there. But again, you know, maybe Finau or any other golfer can be like, oh, I know how to control my drive and my irons. It's not affecting me much, but I think to a degree, sometimes if we overuse one side of something in sports, it can become, too over dominant to the other side with the other side. It's not really a factor. But I mean, like I said, Finau's one of my favorite ball strikers. I don't think it's going to affect him ball striking. But if he were to say, like, you know what, I'm going to do this one hand putt thing for a while, I hope it doesn't change the remainder of his, golf set in regards to driver, irons, wedges, and stuff.
Yeah, I think the main thing it'll mess with is things that are more similar to putting. So like his chipping, you know, like I think the long game won't be as affected, but like the long putts, the chipping might be affected because it's like I'm so used to doing this like touchy feeling thing with one hand that if I put two hands on the club, whereas like no one's gonna. I mean, you could chip one-handed, especially if it's like a close off the fringe. Like, I wonder if that's going to mess with those chip shots. Like, he's going to be less accurate because he's got two hands on the club now. I could see that happening.
Yeah. Well, I guess in reality, we'll figure out. I think he's playing the RBC Canadian Open, but, you know, we'll see about that. So hopefully it doesn't affect him too much, or maybe it affects him for the better. I do want to say shout out to Sam Burns, man. Day one, shot 76. Looked like he was probably going to miss the cut. Came back on fire, shot a low round of 65, 7 under.
Better.
Yeah, that was an amazing turnaround for him. But unfortunately, the inconsistent with the weather conditions and stuff took a toll on him for the rest of the week, where he just ended up finishing even, which was solid. But, you know, as my sleeper, I was hoping he was going to finish a lot better than these final 2 days. Next thing I want to get into, bro, which we've talked about this guy. He was my third-round pick, Ludvig Aberg. Played a little bit better today. He was at the bottom of like the finishers again. Many of you have talked about how he's always been like, I made the cut, but finished 52nd, 45th. He ended up finishing T16 today. Had a low round of 6 under. But the issue he's been having is last year he was top 30 in approach stats. This year he's 133rd, and the announcer started talking about, like, man, the effects of his knee surgery that he had could be playing a factor. Now, he had
surgery?
Yeah, so here's my question for you as a PT. How much can I think he had a torn medial meniscus. How much can that affect the golfer on their downswing, because they kept talking about like, man, he's trying to keep that left leg stable and such like that. So I would love to hear your expertise on that.
He tore his left, so he had left medial meniscus surgery.
I believe last off season. Let me check the date on that, bro. Because in reality, if it was last off season, you came in on a Genesis, you should be okay. But I don't know how like later on, how that might have like came back and like snuck up on him.
Yeah, or if it's like knee starting to ache now. So I wonder if it's like a repair or a meniscectomy where they take out a piece of it.
Let's see.
If it was a repair, I'm worried that it like.
Okay. So here you go. It says Ludvig Aberg underwent knee surgery early September because he did miss a few events, I think. Yeah.
Dude, I didn't even know he had knee surgery.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This is 2024, so I'm wrong. But he underwent knee surgery September 2024 to repair a torn medial meniscus in his left knee. The surgery was performed after a period of playing through injury, which he first sustained while working out in May. He returned to competition in late November of last year, playing in the RSM Classic. So again, he had an arthroscopic surgery in New York to repair the torn meniscus in September. So, let me hear your thoughts on like playing through maybe a repair torn meniscus and maybe even some good rehab things to do, because all you golfers, y'all watch Golf and Gospel. If you like, Jordan Spieth watched this episode and he played a lot better after he probably took Nate's advice.
That's true.
So there we go. So what would you advise Ludvig, or what are some things you'll see with that?
Well, anytime someone undergoes any knee surgery or knee injury, they lose a lot of quad function. That's like, it's very, very well established. It's called like arthrogenic muscle inhibition or cortical muscle inhibition. So at first when you like hurt your knee, it gets swollen, and then your body doesn't want to use that leg. Mm-hmm. So what happens is like the same mechanism as if you ever stepped on like a Lego or like a tack or whatever. Yeah, and you like pull your foot back, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a reflex. So your body automatically does it. And that same kind of reflex within your nervous system happens to your leg whenever you have a knee injury or surgery. It can persist for a while. And usually the main muscle that's affected is your quads. So if you think about like, if you try to pull away from a Lego, you try to like bend your leg, you have to shut down your quads in order to bend your leg, if that makes sense, to pull your leg off the ground. So I can see how that's problematic for a golfer, because if it's his left leg, he has to push into the ground.
Yep.
He has to push like back into the ground when he's trying to hit, especially when he's trying to hit hard. Mm-hmm. You have to finish onto your left side. So if you're not like getting onto that left side because there is some joint pain, there's some muscle inhibition, whether it's at the level of the joint or at the spinal or at the nervous, the brain, it can really affect how you hit the ball. And it could affect his walking, but I just wonder if his knee gets sore at all.
Yeah.
The main thing to correct that is just exercise. But there's studies, and there was like one that came out like last week that showed that like there's persistent deficits in like jump performance in people who have. But this is most of the research we know is about ACL. So meniscus, it's that, but a little bit less. Mm-hmm. But these like there's persistent. We just talked about like using one side with Finau and stuff like. But there's persistent asymmetries that can kind of last forever in jumping performance. And a golf swing is kind of like a jump, like you're pushing into the ground.
For sure.
So it's kind of like a jump. So I wonder if that messes with him that much or not. I have no clue. I don't know the
we're just speculating out here from the outside in for sure.
But I do wonder what his strength is on both legs. Like it would be interesting. So like if we got him on like some force plates and then like a dynamometer, it's like a. Did you have a Humac when you were with the Chargers or the Giants? Like it's like this. Oh, you might have done it with like a hamstring test where you sit on this machine and then, like test how strong you are.
It's like a resistance thing and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, you like kick and then you pull.
Yep. I had all that. Yeah.
That machine is called a dynamometer, and it'd be interesting to get like Ludvig on that and just see how he performs.
Because you want to see obviously the comparison between his left and right quad and see if those things are obviously balancing out. And then I know at least for me when I had the hamstring issues, we wanted to see the quad to hamstring ratio and see the difference between those, and maybe that would contribute to my hamstrings. We never figured out, and obviously I'm done playing football now, so guess it really doesn't matter. But regardless of Ludvig, finished T16, which was one of his better finishes in the last few weeks, man. So, it was good to see that. Hopefully, whatever rehab he's doing continues to progress that. But Ludvig, I know you don't watch Golf and Gospel because I drafted you in the third round. If you really want to get better, listen to Nate Wong, bro.
We just got to talk trash on him, and then he'll start balling.
I feel like we kind of have, because we don't talk bad about people. We just like, hey, bro, you have not been hooping. This is how you've been finishing.
Listen to his stats. Yeah,
that's all we do. Yeah, and guys be like, you know what? I watched this. I'm never gonna post that I watch your show, but we know y'all be watching, bro. But, Ludvig came back with a T16. Now I guess we can get into the big match here. Ben Griffin versus Scottie Scheffler. Now, I do want to say about Ben Griffin, man, this is awesome to see consistency back-to-back weeks, man. Just won the Charles Schwab, finished T2 this week at the Memorial. Came out strong with 7 under. Next day, I think it rained really bad by the time he came back out. Just played consistent golf, finished even, was still T7. Still was 7 under, finishing on the top. But I watched an interview. We talked about this. He talked about the importance of creatine. Creatine has been in his life.
Creatine?
Yeah, and it's been helping him with his quad tendonitis because it's helping him build strength. And the other plus is he's now gaining distance because he's getting stronger. I believe this week he was ranked top 8 in distance. But again, Murfield, we're not really trying to we really care about distance this week. We more so the approach shots, green and regs. But how important is strength training in regards to recovering or trying to fix quad tendonitis?
Dude, so tendons are tricky. I can open up a whole can of worms on this. Yeah. So the funny thing is with tendon, we stop calling it like tendonitis because we know that inflammation doesn't play a huge role in tendon pain. Like it's there for sure, but it's not the biggest variable contributing to whether or not someone has pain. Neither is imaging, and also neither is how their tendons behave when it's being stretched. So we call it like imaging, inflammation. So the imaging would be like morphological characteristics, and then how it behaves when it's strained is like mechanical characteristics. None of those 3 things need to change for someone's pain to go away when it comes to tendonitis or tendinopathy. So which I feel like it can kind of blow people's minds, especially physical therapists. It's like, what? So you're saying that people don't need to get stronger? Yeah. People do need to get stronger. Generally, exercise helps because it more or less. This is my hypothesis. So again, I reserve the right to be wrong. Yeah. But I think it more or less resets the nervous system in a way that your nervous system is like okay with the amount of tension going through a tendon. So there are studies coming out of Australia, so like where they study like the brain's behavior when it comes to having tendon pain. And it's kind of the same thing I was saying about Ludvig's. When someone has a knee surgery, they want to reflexively withdraw. The same thing kind of happens when someone gets like tendon-related pain. So exercise can kind of help more or less make the nervous system okay with the tendon getting some tension through it, getting some or producing some force or getting some strain. Either way, what I like to say is if you're going to have persistent tendon pain, because it's very likely to come back, especially like in basketball players, they're likely to get tendon pain over and over again throughout the season. For sure. I always tell people, like, would you rather be strong and in pain or weak and in pain? So that's kind of another reason why it's like exercise is probably.
Oh, you said that when we played golf in Monaca.
Yeah. So it's like, would you rather be strong and in pain or weak and in pain? In case this tendinopathy or this tendon pain persists, we want to at least be prepared. At least we can perform our tasks in spite of pain, if that makes sense. The reason why strength training works for tendon-related pain is it doesn't have to change the morphology of the tendon on imaging. It doesn't have to change how the tendon behaves. And it doesn't have to get rid of inflammation. It just more or less lets your nervous system know that, hey, this tendon can produce force and be okay with it, essentially.
Yeah, that makes sense, bro. That really does. But let's get into the golf aspect of things. So, like I said, Ben Griffin did amazing both Thursday and Friday. And, dog, Scottie woke up on Saturday. He finished 4 of the last 5 holes with birdies, which ended up, well, I guess on Friday he did this, which ended up putting him in the final pairing group with Ben Griffin. And I love how it didn't seem to faze Ben Griffin. He had full confidence, which I think every golfer should, or unless he displayed that. Ben Griffin was quoted saying, "No stage is too big for me." And he proved it last week by beating Scottie at the Charles Schwab. Last week, we know that Ben Griffin was paired with Matt Schmidt. So he didn't have he didn't have the physical presence of Scottie being grouped with him. So, I don't know.
And the gallery. Yeah.
And the gallery too, because they're not following him. Now, granted, when Ben Griffin watches this, he's gonna be like, I wasn't affected by that, which you probably wasn't, bro. But we see that being paired with Scottie, I personally think didn't affect him. I think Scottie was just super, super consistent. But I want to ask you, or we both can discuss, what do you think separated both Ben and Scottie going into Sunday? Because Scottie was 8 under and Ben was 7 under. And we see that Scottie finished with, I believe, 10 under and Ben finished with 6 under, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, how does it not affect you? Like, you got to be complete. I mean, obviously, it probably affects him less than it would a lesser man,
Yeah, for sure.
But, how do you not let it affect you, especially with like the Scottie presence? I was just thinking about like the President's Cup when like he makes the putt on top of, I forget who he was playing with. And it was like
it was Tom Kim or Siwoo Kim.
Oh, Tom Kim. Yeah, it might have been Siwoo because Tom Kim isn't Tom Kim American?
Nah, he's Korean. Because remember, if he didn't place a certain position in the Olympics, he had to go serve in like the next war or something like that. Yeah. But so he plays with international.
Yeah, so it might have been Tom Kim then, but yeah, it's like you don't want that like bounce back.
Yeah.
Because Scottie's probably not gonna trip up, but you might,
Yeah.
So. To me, it has to affect him. Maybe not as much as like it would have Tom Kim, because Tom Kim's also really young too.
Yeah. Well, I know that. Scottie was super consistent because he only dropped one shot, and then I was like, oh shoot, Ben, you're only down one stroke. Because I think Ben started off one. Yeah, Ben started off bogey, birdie, couple pars, bogey, birdie. And I'm like, bro, you have to make some more birdies, bro. But I think the thing that, like I said, that separated them was just Sky's consistency. He never really found himself in trouble. He only dropped one shot.
His bad shots are still pretty good.
Yeah, man. And it's just
whereas Ben Griffin hit somebody on the left.
Hit somebody in the back. I forgot which hole if he was like by the tree and he kind of had like punch out. I think it looked like he tried to play a hard cut and get to the green, but he couldn't. And I just much props to Ben Griffin because you're having an incredible season, bro. To be, and I say this respectfully, two wins and to be relevant back-to-back weeks.
That's so hard.
It's so hard, bro. And it's funny because we keep talking about like undercard names, and Ben is starting to get out of that category. But going back to what I was saying in the beginning, bro, it's just like someone compete with Scottie and Scottie stands might, try to jump me or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's not like Scottie's like playing like overly incredible, like, oh, I can't match that. But it's like guys will like shank one right, and Scottie's like, well, I'm in the fairway. And then like, I just missed the green, and Scottie's like, well, I just hit it 10 feet. Which, yes, that's a good shot, but like, he's not like dueling you per se, like shot for shot. The other player just keeps getting in worse positions because of their own fault. And maybe that could be because I'm playing with Scottie. But I remember also listening to the announcers. They were like, the difference between Tiger and Scottie is Tiger was a more exciting player. It's like, oh, look at him wrap around this tree, and oh, look at him hit this low stinger onto the green. And Scottie just
there's 2-iron out of the bunker or something like that.
Yeah, and Sky's like fairway, green, putt, maybe 2-putt, up, chip in, putt, nice. Like, and it's really good golf.
So
Scores
true.
look amazing, but it's
That's
like
so
he's
true,
not
bro.
doing anything overly incredible. And I remember we shot with Ted. He talked about like just, at least for amateurs, like lessening your mistakes. Like don't make one mistake a bigger mistake. Like you want to close that margin, and not put yourself in trouble. And Sky doesn't really get himself in trouble, which goes to his Sky's IQ. Like, hey, I know I can't miss right here, and also credit to Ted too. Obviously, Ted doesn't like give himself credit, but it's like, bro, you are directing Scottie in
for sure
the right direction. And I know Ted said now it's up to the pro if he's going to take that advice, but there's been multiple times Scottie says, I listen to Ted, bro. I listen to Ted.
Yeah, it helps with like the decision-making process. Like, hey, pick the decision that's easier, essentially, and then that limits the miss. Dude, you're so right, though. His even at the Masters, like he was not really messing up. Like it's also true. Yeah, he's not making anything happen too in the Masters. Which is why, like, if we can get Rory back into things, because Rory dropped out. Didn't even call Jack, that whole headline,
Weird, yeah.
But if like Rory was there, it could have made it more interesting. Because I also think like Scottie can make it happen. Like
yeah. We're not knocking that ability for sure.
Yeah. I think he can make it happen. But if he had a Rahm to go against, a DeChambeau or a McIlroy to go against, I think that will force that side of him more. Or he just shrinks back to playing consistent golf and gets fourth, because his bad days, his bad weekend is fourth.
Yeah, and he's hot about it. And I love how you said that, bro, because in reality too, like his final pairing groups for him as wins have been no one scary. Now again, for you Scottie stans who are just all over Scottie, we're not saying if he is paired that he will shrink, but it might develop a little bit of pressure on him. But I also think if someone like a Rory or a Xander gets paired with Scottie, they might be more intimidating than Scottie is of them. And we kind of saw that at the what tournament was it when they were all paired together day one? Was it PGA Championship?
I think it was PGA Championship,
Yeah. So, Scottie did separate from those guys then. But
not initially, So maybe.
Yeah. So, but again, congrats. Scottie gets his third victory, which, again, is amazing, but it was so boring to watch. I'm like, I'm turning this off because me and you was like, you know what, I'm about to watch LPGA, which, go ahead.
No, but I was just saying, like, when you're like paired with like a Ben Griffin, right? Because it's just twosomes.
Yeah.
It's just so Scottie obviously teed off first more times than not, but it's
for
like
sure.
When you tee off, you hit it down the middle, and then you see Ben Griffin pull one left or hit it under a tree, and then he has to go first because he's probably further out than you.
Yep.
Then he punches out, misses the green. Then your approach shot all of a sudden becomes a lot easier. You know?
Oh yeah.
So I feel like if he was paired with a Rory, Rory's probably out driving him. He's probably hitting it straight as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to hit the approach shot first. And Scotty's not going to miss he's pretty accurate off the
100%
with his irons and stuff like that. But it has to mess with his decision making because especially like on the back nine on Sunday, and the scores are tight.
Mm-hmm.
It has to mess with your decision making, and it has to mess with kind of like the intensity or the like how contentious each moment is on some of these rounds. So, but there was just not a lot of contention in his back nine.
Yeah,
so.
And nothing put the fear in Scottie at all. And I said Scottie never really shows, I say this lightly, he never really shows emotion per se, except when he was a little hothead in the beginning of this year. But like if he has a bogey, he's kind of just like, dang, that should have broke right, but he moves on. As opposed to other guys, it's like is more damaging because like Scottie's not gonna go drop and get double, triple bogey. Rarely. He might like some of the tougher holes like at the PGA Championship, but like you can't really expect like Scottie might mess up here. I might get him back here, but it's like probably not, bro. You're gonna have to get more birds as opposed to hoping Scottie's going. Yes, as opposed to Scottie getting some bogeys. It's just a rarity, bro. Super rarity, man. But one guy I do want to talk about who's also playing better. I mentioned him early because he watched this episode of Golf and Gospel. Got his wrist a little bit better. Jordan Spieth, bro. I watched one of his interviews, man, and shout out to the homie Noah Reed. Noah Reed was so hyped because at one point Jordan Spieth was like T3 or something like that.
Yeah, he was up there.
Yeah, Spieth was talking about his confidence. He said this week he was focused on keeping the ball in controllable places, which makes sense based off the earlier stat we said with green and regs being the key factor which separated people from a top 5 versus at the bottom of the leaderboard. Again, he said he focused on keeping the ball in controllable places, but he did admit that he is a 7 out of 10 in regards to confidence level. And he knows what he has to work on to get to a 10, but it's just more work, man. So far as we've been observing Jordan Spieth this year, what do we think from the outside perspective? Because we're not there. We're not him. What do we think is like the extra work that he has to put in to get back into hopefully 22, 23-year-old Jordan Spieth?
Bro, I don't know. That's a good question because like they don't show him much, you know.
They haven't.
Yeah. So
you gotta hope he gets paired with like a JT or a Xander or Scottie just to see him in a pairing. Yeah. They'll flash to him. Here and there,
it's a good shot.
yeah. Or the one it's funny. You and Noah Simi, the shank he had, ball above his feet from the rough, almost taking out that guy in the yellow shirt.
He still made a par.
He still made a par though. Yes. Yeah.
So I don't know. Just based off the few shots I've seen, because he had a few good bunker shots. I saw like some highlights of. Because he's always good out of the bunkers.
Yes. 100%. Yeah, I agree.
I don't get it. He's like unbelievable.
Yeah. To the point he needs to just aim for the bunker.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, like, dude, you might get a birdie out of the bunker more than you would if you were on the green, bro.
Putting,
so, yeah. But I would say like just tee shots and irons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Which I think is a good answer. Which is a normal answer, bro.
But if I were to pick, I would say irons. Like.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I saw him in the rough a lot. I don't even know because I didn't like. They didn't show him a lot, so I didn't like follow his round.
Yeah.
What do you think? Have you?
I think from my, me just watching golf this year, I think he always goes back and references his injury. I won't say all the time, but he goes back to that. So I think it's just the confidence in like his wrist doing what his wrist, if it's fixed, has the capacity and the capabilities of doing. Because I know for me, like you pull a hamstring, bro. And yes, I mean, I guess he did have a tendon, what we said, UCL, whatever we called it, whatever.
ECU,
excuse me. Like trying to like fight through the mental aspect of like, are you going to react the way I want you to is tough because your body naturally tries to protect itself. So when you try, for me, when I try to do like a release or like a certain route, my hamstring's not right. It's like, I'm not comfortable doing this because I pulled it doing this. So I wonder if it's just like, man, is he afraid like he's going to feel the effects of his wrist like at impact or something? Now, it doesn't look like it, but I wonder if that's just like maybe like a 4% thing that's in the back of his head. Like I'm gonna just swing, but like it's lingering. It's lingering because I really want to know what extra work does he need to put in to get to that 10 out of 10 confidence level, man. But I think it is growing ever since the Byron Nelson. Even though, the field wasn't that tough and he finished top 5 with 19 under, I think his game has been trending since then. Not in the winners category yet, but, making some noise. We're like, Spieth back. But his scorecard is just so mixed. I think it was on.
Yeah, it's kind of sporadic.
Yeah, I think it was on Saturday. He had 6 birdies, 6 bogeys, 6 pars. It's just like,
seriously?
Man, like, because Noah sent it to me, bro. And
shot 8.
We were both like, man, we would love that. Yeah, we were like, bro, we'll love that scorecard, but like, it's just crazy. Like that's the effects of watching Spieth. Like, birdie, he's back. Bogey, par, bogey, birdie.
The
like,
most bipolar round. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster, man. But I think his confidence going up. And like I said, if he only needs 7 out of 10, he needs 3 more, whatever metrics we're counting off of, man, he's pretty close.
Yeah, watch out for 10 out of 10 Spieth, you know.
I know, yeah, it can be dangerous, man. It's just you hope he feels that next year PGA Championship so he can get his career Grand Slam, but how's a while to go now until he gets back to that tournament. Last guy I want to talk about here is Nick Taylor. He played really well, and next week he's back in his hometown, RBC Canadian Open. He's the guy. What do you think this looks like for Nick Taylor, having a very promising outing this week and then going home next week, which I believe he won this tournament. We talked about this either 2 or 3 years ago, playoff with that 72-foot putt against Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh, that's right. They showed that this.
They did? Okay, I missed that.
They did show. I think they might have showed it yesterday, though. I don't know if they showed it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was with Fleetwood. And Fleetwood just like,
like
you
it's
freaking kidding
crazy.
me, dude?
Yeah, I need to get a PGA win. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's like the logo now because he like threw his putter.
Yeah.
And they were saying like that's the logo for the RBC.
That's
because
sick.
It was like a hometown guy. Not hometown, but you know.
Yeah, he's a Canadian guy.
Yeah. He might be from there. I actually have no idea.
Is he from Toronto? Yeah, I'm not sure if he's from specifically Toronto, but I mean, yeah, hometown kid technically. Him. Adam Hadwin's Canadian too, right?
Yeah, Adam. Wasn't Adam?
He went to go.
Wasn't that the tournament? He got
Champagne,
tackled,
and he got tackled by security.
That was the one, right?
Yeah, he had no lanyard or nothing on, no
Yeah.
credentials.
Because he's a player.
Like my friend won and literally got speared, bro, which is just crazy. I think Nick Taylor has a good chance going into this, bro. I think he has some good finishes this week.
Scotty's not playing.
Scotty is not playing, so we're gonna predict these later. But yeah, I think it should be fun. But let's transition into the better tournament this week, a major tournament.
Let's go.
Yeah, the LPGA just finished its women's U.S. Open breakdown. We will have a special guest. I'm going to merge that in. Unfortunately, my boy Nate won't be able to attend that, but I will ask some questions that Nate has for this special guest, which I won't mention until I put her in here, man. But, bro, your girl Nelly Korda, man. Nelly Korda, excuse me.
Bro.
She put fear in me, but not really fear. Because I was like, dog, I'm not picking her. I don't think she would win at all.
Dude, going into today.
Yeah, she had chance.
I had full confidence because it was like we saw it happen last major for the men's for Scottie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the same thing was going to happen because like world number 1 women's, world number 1 men's.
Yeah.
Because Scottie, granted, he wasn't down by 1 on the last was he down by 1 going on the last day of the PGA? I can't even remember already.
No, he was up because he was going against Alex. What's Lauren? Lorene?
Yeah, Noren or
Alex Noren.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alex Noren. My bad. Yeah. But no, I think he was up 3 strokes. I think Alex Noren was 7 under. Scottie was 10. Yeah.
I just thought that this was going to be the one that Nelly was going to chase, but Maja Stark, dude, she played a very Scottie round.
She did.
She
bro.
did not mess up at all.
Yeah.
Like
Ping player.
Ping player, yeah. And she threw her club at one time, so like Nelly just made a birdie.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, sorry. Nelly would just hit a good shot for a birdie, and then like Maja just hit a shot, and then she like threw her club, and I was like, it's going downhill right now.
Yeah.
And she still made par on that hole.
Yeah.
And then Nelly couldn't finish. Like she couldn't make her putts.
Yeah. I think well, I forgot what hole it. Maybe it was 17 or 18 when Nelly had to chip twice. Unfortunately, she tried
18.
It was 18. Yeah, she tried to get up there and it rolled back down. Had to chip back up.
Dude,
and I know the homie Jim Park. He's one of the more prominent golf trainers out here, golf coaches out here. He says the keys to breaking 80. He said no penalties off the tee. He can't chip twice and no 3 putts. And obviously Nelly breaks 80 easily, but when she chipped twice, I was like, that's kind of it because
amateur status.
yeah, right. Yeah, Nelly watches you.
Amateur hour out here, bro.
She'll destroy us. But but her putter hasn't been that hot where she can get away with chipping twice. So when she did
not
that,
this weekend.
Yeah, when she did that, I was like, no, that's it for Nelly. At that point, you were just kind of hoping that maybe Shibuno, you were hoping like maybe she can contend. But at that point, I was like, man, Maja can just par out or maybe have one bogey and par out and be good. And I think she did that. I think she had one bogey because she didn't have to be aggressive. No need to be aggressive. I think it was like,
she parred 18. Well, like if you saw that putt on 18, she hits her drive and then hits her second shot, and she hits 3 shots to get up to the green, and she's like way short.
Yeah,
she doesn't even putt it to the hole because it was like the
green are tricky.
The hole was kind of like. Yeah, the green is tricky, and then like there's that big drop off, and like that's where a lot of girls went. Like Nelly went there. Some of the Japanese girls went there.
Yeah.
The girl that Maja was playing with, Julia, went there.
Yeah.
Which I felt so bad for her because she's like, I think she's a rookie.
Yeah.
Julia.
Is it
Lopez Maria?
Yeah. And she had the best round day one. And it kind of just went, because I think she finished 2 under, but then her day one was
she finished even.
Oh yeah,
or maybe 1 over. It
went that bad for her.
Because that last hole, she finished 1 over. That last hole she got a triple.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Cause I saw that 2 under when.
Yeah, she was right there where Nelly was, and that's just such a dangerous spot. So like, I think that's why like Maja saw that, was like, dude, I'm not even gonna putt it at the hole, because if I hit it, if she hits it short, it's coming right back to where she was, and if she hits it long, then it would go where Maja was, and she could easily triple and then give the U.S. Open away to Nelly,
Yeah.
So she just hit it to the middle of the green, and then 2 putts for
and just
bogey, I think.
Yeah, because And that was smarter, and she there was no need for her to take a risk. I've been watching this YouTube channel. It's like ESN. I think we talked about it when we golfed together, bro. And they just show like some of like the craziest like last hole blunders. People like doing stuff that makes sense. They show like some shots of like Phil Mickelson like should have took like an iron off the tee, but he went driver, went out of bounds, messed something up. Oh yeah, I think it was a U.S. Open, and that's the only major he doesn't have. And that was his only chance to get it. And he got aggressive off the tee, trying to use driver for no reason, shanked it right, and like hit a tree and stuff like that. And I think golfers are learning like I don't have to like rub it in per se. Like, let's just get out here safe, play 4-minute offense. I don't have to throw another touchdown here. Play 4-minute offense.
Yeah, just run it. Yeah.
Finish with a bogey. Hey, I won by 2 strokes instead of 3. Who cares? I won the U.S. Open. But it was awesome for Maja to win that, bro. As a Sweden player too, because now she joins some of the Swedish elites with Annika Sorenstam, Anna. I never know how to say her last name. Nordqvist.
Anna Nordqvist. Is that Anna? Pronounced? Okay.
Yep. Her, and then Helen Alfredsson. So now she is, in some elite names for winning a major, bro, which is awesome for her. Other thing too, I want to shout out some of the homies from the Epson Tour. Sophia Hausman for making the cut. I think she finished, +8 total, but it was good to see one of the Epson Tour girls make it. And shout out to my dog, Hailee Cooper, who went out there and went crazy, bro. Finished with 3 under, placed a solo 8th. And if you get top 10 in the Women's U.S. Open, you earn exemption, bro. And,
next year, let's go, Hailee.
Yes.
Let's go.
Respectfully, bro, Hailee's a dog, bro. It baffles me because she hasn't won on Epson Tour yet, but literally, like, depending on the event, some Epson Tour events are 3 days, some are 4. She's always like leading going to the last day, and then like something happens where she doesn't finish the way to win. But Hailee can compete, bro. She can compete. And guys, go watch the episode with me and Hailee Cooper too on Golf and Gospel. I'll link it right here somewhere. But go ahead, Nate.
Dude, I wonder if it's because those Epson Tour, I don't know how close Epson Tour is to the Corn Ferry, but it's like those are just birdie fests.
Yeah.
And they were just saying that. Like, they were saying how Shibuno is her name. They were saying how, like, she doesn't do well with birdie fest, but if it's a hard course and you're just going to shoot a little bit under par, she'll hang right in there. And that might be how Hailee does it. Like, just, hey, those those really hard courses, she'll hang right there with all the good players. But then those easy birdie fest courses, she'll finish middle of the pack because she's still probably gonna shoot 3 under in one of those courses.
Yeah, that makes sense, bro. But Hailee is such an amazing golfer, bro. Every person, I guess you call it the boss of those specific tours, are like, hey, he's going to be on the LPGA soon.
Probably,
Jody Brothers said it, who's, Epson Tour boss. Jody Brothers said it. The person from the NXT Tour, which is like the tour underneath.
Yeah, the next,
Yeah, they said, like, yo, Hailee's definitely going to be on the LPGA. And she shows that she can compete, bro. Like, way to show
let's
out,
go,
bro.
Hailee.
And it makes, again, I'm so honored that, I got to play with her, bro.
Dude, -3 at Erin Hills. Dude, that's such a punishing course, dude.
Tough, bro. And she made her name known, bro. So, Hailee, man, shout out to you, dog. Congrats. Again, don't want to necessarily overshadow Sophia. Sophia Hausman, great job making the cut. You did your thing out there, too. But Hailee, man, to place the top 10, get ready to play again there next year.
Major, dude.
Yeah. Now, granted,
it's at Riviera next year. Dude, let's go.
Yeah. Now, granted, I know Hailee. I think she's in top 15 in the race for the LPGA card in the Epson Tour. So she'll definitely have LPGA status or be on the LPGA next year. But way to represent for the Epson Tour, Hailee. So congrats to you. The other thing I kind of want to talk about too, man. It seems like this could be the season of the putter. For a lot of women on the LPGA. Geremy, no, she switched to a lab putter, and she said she thinks this putter is the best for like broomstick style. I've never putted with a broomstick, so I don't have any knowledge of that combo. But have you ever used a broomstick putter, Nate? The broomstick is pretty much what Lucas Glover uses.
It's just like in the middle, mallet.
The one they be using like this, Nate, like this.
Oh, duh. So like, duh.
So have you used one before?
Dude, I didn't even know it was called. It was an interchangeable name.
Yeah.
No, that's like what Adam Scott uses. Yeah,
Adam Scott does too. Yeah. Lucas Glover, I believe, uses the broomstick putter too.
So no switch to
She switched to a lab, but she thinks it's paired best with the broomstick putter because she had a pretty good day putting. Nelly Korda, obviously, we know she swapped her blade for mallet, and that's kind of enhanced her game as of lately. And also, my pick to win, Angel Yin debuted her new putter, made 6 birdies on day 1, but didn't really fare for the rest of the tournament. I think she finished maybe top 11. Not sure if she cracked that top 10, but I'm for sure she's in top 11. Angel Yin.
Yeah, she got 9th.
There we go. Yeah, so solid finish for her, man. But definitely.
So did Juchanagar, your other pick?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think I have some solid picks. I did make a mistake. I really thought that Elizabeth Sokol was in the field. She wasn't. But I like the picks I made, bro. Juchanagar, obviously, you can say top 10. Angel Yin, top 10. But the next person I do want to talk about is Mal Sago, bro. Day 1 went nuts. Or is it day 2? Day 1, day 2?
I can't remember. She was leading.
And went by like 3 strokes. And all I could think in my head is like, if she gets her first 2 victories to be majors, that would be crazy. Because she already won Rookie of the Year last year. So I'm like, man, you are putting yourself in contention to be LPGA Golfer of the Year. No question. No question.
Yeah.
I think she still is in contention for that because she finished probably. I would think
she got 4th, dude.
Yeah, bro. Come on, you top 5 in 2 majors. So she made 89 cuts, 3 top 10s, 2 top 5s were included majors, and she was Rookie of the Year last year. I think she's in the conversation as LPGA Player of the Year, unless Nelly goes on some heater later on. Because I know
Nelly, someone else goes on some heater.
Or someone else. But I just know Nelly is the face of the LPGA. Very.
For sure.
Yeah. And Emma Talia said this, man. Very beautiful girl. Probably one of the most beautiful swings on the tour.
For sure.
Gets the most notoriety. Yeah. So, she's the face.
And she signs autographs in the middle of the round. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I also saw Charlie Hull does that, but she be smoking cigs, bro. That just throws me
She's
off,
got
bro.
like she's like the John Daly. Nelly Korda is the Tiger Woods. You know?
Yeah. And Charlie Hull's John Daly. Yeah, I like that comparison, bro. Because John Daly was a dog.
He was a dog. Charlie Hall's a dog. You know.
She is. I want to go to one of your picks too, which I said was a really dark horse pick. Was Zhang, bro. You had high hopes for her, bro.
Dude.
But she actually mentioned this in an interview, which I found very interesting. She mentioned that she misses the team chemistry of college golf.
Dude, I like that answer. She said,
Oh, you saw that? That's in it to you, or did you see it yourself?
I saw it myself, but you also sent it to me.
Yeah, bro. How much do you think that's affecting her in her transition to a full-time pro? Because when she was still in college and playing LPGA events, we're thinking like she's the next one. She's the up and coming one.
I thought it was going to be a smooth transition because other people have transitioned way smoother. But I also think it's like being an adult for once, you know, for the first time. I don't want to say for once in her life. I have no idea how responsible she was. She's probably more responsible than I was when I was a 22-year-old kid.
Right.
But I think it's also like everything is on you. Like I have to travel. I have to figure it out myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like the NFL where your travel arrangements are already made.
For sure.
You know, you have to figure this out yourself. You have to figure out who your caddy is going to be. And there's just a lot of moving parts that you are the sole, like the responsibility falls on you for all these things.
Yeah.
Her training, her nutrition, like whereas in college you have those things figured out. You have all those things figured. You know, her travel arrangements are already made. Where she's staying is already made. What she's going to eat is kind of already planned. Like, granted, when you're in college and you go on a tournament, you just, hey, what do you guys want to eat after this? That's usually what it is. But
yeah. I think that kind of does factor into, from a biblical standpoint, factors in the importance of community and just having, you know,
Absolutely.
someone alongside with you with the same mindset. Now, granted, I'm sure there are a lot of people she can fellowship with, be in community with on tour, but she just talked about like the consistency of it isn't like the same because in college you're with those people all the time, and then the tour, you know, in a sense, but it is different. People have families, maybe they got husbands and stuff like that. It's just so I think she's just struggling with that full-time transition, which I wonder if that's affecting her confidence as a player because it's like, man, I miss like my homegirl rooting for me, or like being paired with my friend and like stuff like that.
Yeah, it's obviously different for everybody because everyone has different, I don't know, social wants and needs. You know, so like I can see how like one person will transition really well, and then another person will transition poorly. If you know, because I also think it's got to be lonely. You know, like you're traveling all the time, so it's hard to build. I mean, dude, even in adulthood, it's just, you know, when you have a full-time job, it's hard, and you're not moving. You know, you're not traveling every week. Yeah, that in itself is hard to build community. If you just work, you know. Yeah. So, with her traveling every week, and it's hard because like you're competing with these girls. So some of these girls don't want to be your friend. They want to see you as just a person to beat in like. Yeah. I want to stomp you out on the golf course, so I don't want to hang out with you.
It's not a team effort
outside of here.
Yeah, it's all solo.
I mean, obviously, other girls are great. They're very friendly with that. Yeah. But like we saw, like when Maja won, like Lynn Grant and I forget who else, like all came out with champagne to congratulate her.
For sure.
Yeah, and you got like Spieth and JT being best buds, but I just think I hope Rose finds something like that. I think that'll kind of help her with her. Yeah, it's just you can feel really lonely on the road. Not that I know from experience.
Yeah, but that's what she pretty much was referencing in this interview, that you know she missed the camaraderie of like team golf, but now it's like solo golf. But you know, we hope she does get back to you know, the capabilities we know that she's able to be on the LPGA, but unfortunately she missed the cut, being at +2, and the cut line was +1. But again, guys, please like, subscribe, you know, let us know how we're doing. Again, apologize for these technical difficulties today. The last thing I want to talk about in regards to the LPGA, just preface, bro, I've learned how much in love I am with Lynn Grant's swing. Like it's
Bro,
yeah,
I
it's,
knew you were gonna say that.
yeah, dog. It's
The
short.
Finau
It's
of women's golf
yeah, short. It's loopy. I love
is
those
loopy.
swings. I love the Finau swing. Who has the short back swing? I don't love Rom swing. He can keep that
Fowler.
swing. Yeah, Ricky's. Yeah,
Rom, you don't like Rom?
no, Rom swing is ugly to me. Just a little too
Oh,
bold, and yeah, I don't like Rom swing. But Lynn
Oh
Grant,
yeah.
Tony Finau, yeah,
Yeah,
dog.
she's like more cupped. But
Mhm.
she was throwing darts.
She was.
I'm telling you, dude, if she would have made
Some putts.
half her putts,
Oh my gosh, we're talking.
if she would have made half her putts, she would have won a landslide victory. But I feel like those greens were kind of hard to read because a lot of the girls were hitting it, and it would just burn edges, or like it would be like that didn't even get close, like they didn't even hit the hole.
Yeah.
I just felt like I don't know. I'm excited to hear what our special guest is going to say about those greens because it looked kind of confusing for some of these girls.
Oh yeah, even from a television standpoint, I'm just like, what do you do here? Like,
Yeah.
Like I forgot which part 5 it was, but they were like aiming for the back ridge, hitting it off the bank, and letting it roll and then turn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is this a thing, bro? Like it was just crazy, man. It's super.
I think it was like 14 or 15,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
and it rolls back really fast.
Yeah,
like that one.
Yeah, some people will overshoot it using that bank, but yeah, bro. But no, Lynn Grant, bro. That is someone's swing. I'm going to start to, cause I'm studious. Cause in football, I used to watch film a lot. I used to love watching Julio Jones, Demaryius Thomas, Larry Fitzgerald.
Ooh, yeah.
And they say
Julio.
Yeah, and they say the best golfers to watch are females. So I'm definitely gonna
Really?
Yeah.
For swing.
Yeah, well, because they're more tempo, it's a little slower, it's a little easier to study. Like, because part of me, like, she's more tempo with a short back swing. As much as I love Tony Finau, he's too quick, and I don't want to start.
I still think Lynn is kind of whippy with it. Like I don't know. I'm just, this is my observation. I honestly wonder what like her landing angle is on some of her irons, because I feel like there's some girls I just feel like they hit it like a guy, like when the ball like comes down into the green, it's like that looked like a dude hit that.
Yeah.
No, because there's some girls you can tell it's like that was because it like lands and it just kind of runs through.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some like Nelly hits it like that. It's like it comes down and it just stops and then it comes back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Lynn is kind of like that. Like I think, and then the rookie Julia, she hits her arms.
Oh yeah,
like
Ramirez.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's some girls that just like wow it hit the ball so well. Like I would aspire to hit like that too.
Oh, well,
you
what
know?
man? That's what I said. I'm about to start studying Lynn Grant swing, but yeah, bro. I think we can now transition into next week event. We got the RBC Canadian Open. Again, no Sky this week, so this makes it more fun to predict because now we don't have to just say, "Here's Scottie," and I hope he doesn't enter the field late. Currently, right now, he is not in the field, but we do see that Rory is back this week. Still no word on his recent absence, which is still weird that he did not want to play in a signature event like the Memorial. But I think this should be pretty fun to predict. So, again, let's go with the same format as usual or that we established last week. You pick 4 guys who you believe you're going to win, 2 sleepers, and 1 undercard guy that you believe, like, hey, this guy might come out of nowhere. And I don't mind starting it off. And, yeah, it's easy for me to say this. But I'm going to say Nick Taylor. I'm going to go with the hometown kid because, again, had a great finish this week here.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, there is going to be a lot of recalling of what he did in the playoff against Tommy Fleetwood. I think he's having a pretty solid season, man. So just going back home to his I don't know if he's officially from Toronto. Someone please let us know in the comments. But going back to his country, I think he has a solid chance to be victorious. So that'll be my first prediction to win. The second person I'm going to say, and maybe I'm cheating here, I'm going to go with Corey Connors. Corey Connors is ranked 9th this year, and then he's 20 in official world golf rankings, and he also is Canadian too. So
I was going to say, is he Canadian?
Yeah, so, part of me, is let's just go with some hometown kids, though. But I think I'm saying this within good reason as well. So those will be my top two, Nick Taylor as well as Corey Connors. The next person I'm going to say, I'm going to make him transferable into this week with no Scottie, a hot putter. Hopefully there's no weather inclement things happening. Give me Sam Burns, bro.
Sam Burns.
Yes,
Week
bro.
2 of picking Sam Burns.
Yeah, Sam Burns, bro. I hope this is the week he can get back into the winner's circle. He's been playing good golf. Again, no threat from his best friend Scottie being there. I'm going to go with Sam Burns. And my last one, it was kind of hard to pick, bro, because if you just look at solely rankings, don't know if I trust Rory right now. Ludvig, I've said my opinion about him, so I'm not sure about him. Shane Lowry has not been putting well this week. Getting green and reds, but not putting well. Sung Jae's a bit of a wild card. Justin Rose has not played well like in the last 3 weeks. He bowed out of, I forgot which tournament, because he was sick. So this last person is, as I was like studying, I was just like, bro, I really don't know who has a solid chance. Who I will go with, even though I don't believe in the club brand, I'm going to go with Jake Knapp, man. Probably the smoothest swing on tour. Probably smoother than Max Homa. Even Max Homa had one of the best swings on tour. Jake Knapp's swing is a lot.
Love Homa swing.
Yeah. But those are my top 4, man. So Nick Taylor, Corey Connors, Jake Knapp, and give me the Texas, Louisiana kid. Sorry, Sam Burns.
Dude, I think those are solid picks. I don't know about the Corey Connors one.
Yeah.
Dude, I think Nick Taylor, it's hard to not pick him.
Right.
Because he was contending this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go with him too. Dude, I wanted to pick freaking Victor Hovland, but he's not in this field.
Yeah. No one feels like going to Canada. Because you know what's next week, though, after this? It's U.S. Open, bro.
Yeah.
They probably want to
It's
chill.
June already. Jeez, I forgot.
It's moving. Yeah, U.S. Open's coming up. That's going to be fun to predict.
Yeah.
I can't wait, but I don't want to jump the gun here.
Yeah, so I'm going to try. I think Nick Taylor's a good pick. He's super hot right now.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
let's go. Dude, there's a lot of Canadians in this field. I'm looking through
Obviously.
this. Yeah, obviously. Wonder why. I think I'll also. I don't want to take another one of your picks.
Nah, and you go with what you believe, bro.
But Sam Burns.
Yeah. That's a great
I think
pick.
he's a good pick. Dude, because his putter is hot, you know.
Yeah, number 1 in the field.
If he can get his irons dialed in,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what we're learning this whole year is irons and putting is kind of what
It's
matters the most.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I don't want to pick Rory either. No offense to
I
Rory.
know. Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, watch this.
gonna,
Watch this. This is when he wins.
I know, right? Like he's gonna win because he's gonna have like a different driver coming into this week.
Yeah, it's
You know?
probably some confident issues with the non-conforming stuff, and
Yeah.
and then whatever personal issues or whatever reason he bowed out of the Memorial, hopefully it's not translating into this tournament.
Yeah, so like, I mean, you would think that he's like trying to get his driver ready for this week, but I doubt it. Like I doubt it's gonna be ready.
Well, he better get it before the U.S. Open because they're going to be replaying everything with him at DeChambeau over and over. All week.
They're gonna want those two. Do I want to pick this guy, Shane Lowry?
You just got to hope his putter's on, bro. Because like I said,
that's what I'm saying.
This
like,
week he was in one of those. He was in the top percentages in green
irons
and reds.
wedge is not bad.
But putting has not been there. I don't think that's a bad pick though.
Yeah.
I mean, you just picked the other Irishman instead of Rory.
Yeah, the other Irishman. So, I'm gonna pick Shane because you were talking about how his green and red
That's
was
really
up there.
good. Yeah.
Now I'm just gonna pick a guy I like.
Yeah.
Let's go Homa, dude. Yeah, week 1 of picking Homa until he wins.
There we go. Max Homa. I like it. So we got Nick Taylor, Sam Burns, Shane Lowry, Max Homa. I have Sam Burns, Nick Taylor, Corey Connors, Jake Knapp, who I just feel like he's the
Jake Knapp. That's low key a sleeper pick, bro.
Not for me. I think he has a chance to win it, bro. Hey, but one can see.
No offense, Jake.
Yeah. Because, Jake, you're going to watch this. We know you are, bro. Hey, so my sleeper, respectable guy, everyone loves the adversity he's overcome with the brain surgery. I want Gary Willen, bro. I hope Gary Willen can come out here and show up as a sleeper.
Oh, dang, good pick.
If he can finish top 10, I'll be ecstatic to see that, man. Because he still makes noise here and there. It's not consistent from week to week, but, I think with the field not being as dangerous, per se, I like Gary Willen.
Okay. Let's see. You got another sleeper, or you just gonna do one?
Yeah, I got another one. I'm gonna steal one of the lefties from you. He won the.
Dang it, dude! No, you're not gonna pick a lefty. I was gonna pick a lefty.
Which one are you gonna pick? Say it's the same one. Well, I'll just say it. I'm going to Robin McIntyre.
Oh, okay, never mind. You can have him.
Yeah, last year he won. Damn, why am I blanking? What's the right before the Open? It's just the British Open, and then the regular Open.
Oh yeah, it might. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like the British Open or something.
Yeah, he won that last year. And I remember like, man, this dude just caught fire later as the season starting to go on, and I think we're starting to hit that like middle to end dish. Not really end, but like the middle where guys can probably start to find their groove. You know, I'm gonna go right. He's a sleeper. I'm not saying he's about to go light the field up.
Sleeper.
But yeah, I'm gonna definitely go the lefty,
Dude.
Robin McIntyre.
I was gonna go with Mike Weir.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, because I'm gonna kind of pull what Tracy did.
Okay,
I
I like
know. I don't know if I would pick him to win.
Yeah.
But man, would it be cool if Mike Weir contended or made some noise, because he's one of the legends, you know.
Solid.
He's a short lefty. He was one of my favorite players growing up because I'm a lefty, and he was winning tournaments and winning majors when I was in high school. Not high school, when I was young.
Yeah.
It's just kind of one of those things like, hey, maybe if I speak it into existence, it's out there.
Yeah.
No.
That's solid. And again, it's a sleeper, so we're not being as aggressive saying what they're going to do. But
I'm not very optimistic about these sleepers at all.
Yeah.
Maybe let's go with Alex Noren.
Okay. See if he can make noise
Just
again
because
for
he was a
second
baller.
weekend. Yeah.
He was a baller at the PGA.
And that was his first.
I have no idea.
That was his first tournament in like 30-some weeks, I believe. And every week since then, I believe he's been making the cut. So.
Because he had an injury thing.
It's just hamstrings. I don't know how a hamstring was 30 weeks worth. I mean, it could have been more, but yeah.
Yeah, so he had an injury thing, and he's coming back. So
yeah,
we'll see. I have no idea how this course compares to. Gosh, I don't even remember where the PGA was at already.
PGA Championship was at
Quail Hollow.
Hollow. Yeah.
Yeah. I have no idea how it compares to that, but let's hope it's somewhat similar.
Yeah. Yeah, so sleepers, guys. I got Gary Willen and Robert McIntyre. And you have Alex Noren and Mike
Weir. Let's go.
Yeah. And my undercard name, I like this guy ever since Waste Management. There hasn't been an opportunity to talk about him. I think he's a swaggy guy. I love him and his bucket hats. 10 cuts made out of 14 events, 3 top 25s. Doug Gim.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with Thomas Dietrich.
Nah. Well, he won, but undercard name. I mean, Thomas Dietrich, would you say he's still an undercard name, even though he has a PGA victory this year?
I would still say he's undercard.
Okay.
Like I think McIntyre is an undercard. I think now Ben Griffin being a contender a couple of times is a
sleeper,
like a B tier.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair.
What I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's gonna make the main card, but he's not the title fight.
Yeah. No, I got Doug Gim, bro. He hasn't done anything like super crazy this year, but I think a tournament like RBC Canadian Open is one that fares him. Well, maybe we can see like a top 30, even though nothing gets categorized in top 30. It's either top 25, top 10, top 5, and then winner. After that, it's just making a cut. But I'm gonna go with Doug Gim though.
I feel like Doug Gim was better. Like he had a couple good years on tour. I feel like he was. It was like when like JT and Spieth were really good. He was.
Yeah.
He was always making some noise.
It always sucks when you're like you're in your career doing like a legendary like player, because it's like, how am I ever gonna snag some wins? Like if you're like, dang, I'm in my golf career while Tiger's at his prime, like, is anyone ever gonna remember me?
Like if you're
Jack Nicklaus,
Phil Rivers,
when
you're Phil Rivers, and there's Brady, Manning, Roethlisberger, all at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to get your Super Bowl,
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that because everyone's going to remember Phil Rivers. I would say if it's someone like
who's the Jets? Chad Pennington or something like that.
Yeah, Chad Pennington, probably well, he won the last playoff win for the Jets. It was Mark Sanchez, but like he's a good Jets quarterback, but like you got to really be a football fan to know Chad Pennington. And he's probably not going to win because of the era of quarterbacks he played with. And I feel like that's how it is. Like
that's true.
If you're playing with Tiger so far, with Scottie, I kind of hope Xander gets back to normal. So it's like fun again.
Yeah, he's not in this field, is he?
Nah, he's not playing. Nah. These guys are about to get ready for the U.S. Open, bro. And
yeah, like all the top dogs.
Yeah, except for Rory, because Rory obviously missed this week. He has to.
But this could just, because like, and that's probably why it's not a good idea to pick Rory's, because like this could just be like more or less like a tune-up weekend.
I agree.
What did he do? Didn't he do something before the Masters where he he won before the Masters?
No, he took some time off. It was after the Masters. I'm not sure what he did. He won two tournaments before the Masters. I don't know how far apart they were, but obviously we live in an age of internet. I can check. Yeah. So obviously the Masters is in April. If you guys didn't know, plot twist. No, he did not play in the Valero. I mean, Rory was having a hot season, bro. Not to say he still can't, but for some reason, and you called it. I think you said after the Masters, he's just going to kind of like coast a little bit,
dude.
And it's looking.
Yeah, I just don't.
Terrible.
I think that was too much of like I'm too intense, and then now I don't have the engine to support the whole road trip the rest of the year.
Yeah, because what's the next thing? What's the next thing to chase? I mean, the only thing you can chase now is maybe I want to be world number one again, and that's going to be hard. But like, if you want to give yourself a challenge, that would be your next task. Because I mean,
well, Scottie needs to miss cuts too.
He's not missing any cuts.
Him getting top 10 every freaking tournament is really not helping.
Yeah, he only has
Rory, because Rory's
his worst is top 25 at the Waste Management.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. But like Rory's the only guy that can really knock him off because he's number 2.
Yeah.
And Xander's 3, and he's not doing anything. And the live guys don't. So like, I think Rory needs to win everything, and Scottie needs to like have a bad tournament one of these days, and it's just probably not going to happen.
No, I don't see it happening. It's crazy because a bad tournament for Scottie is probably like a great tournament for an undercard guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, whoa, I just got 8th, and Scotty's like, I didn't hit my irons well today. I was only, 12 of 18
putts weren't
fairways.
Dropping.
Yeah, it's like, what are we talking about right now, bro?
Putts weren't dropping today.
Yeah. My average was 1.6 putts per green reg. It's like, all right, Scotty, whatever. Even though he doesn't think like that, but like he's just that good, man.
Yeah.
But I think this week should be more fun in regards to the suspicion of like who may win, because it's not so obvious. I mean, I'm sure odds are going to say Rory because of the pedigree of where he is, official world golf rankings. But honestly, after that, it's like I don't really trust Ludvig like that. I mean, he's well, yeah, I don't really trust Ludvig like that. If I look at official world golf rankings, it's Rory 2, Ludvig 6, and then Shane 14. So no one else is really threatening. So the only person you can possibly say again is Rory. But I think it's anyone's game, though, man. Especially if possibly, like you said, if Rory's just using this as a tune-up to get ready for the U.S. Open.
Yeah. Anyone's
game. So it should be more fun to watch. But again, a lot of those Sky stands are probably like, I'm not watching this tournament because Sky's not playing, which that just says you don't love the game. Because I'm just watching golf to watch golf. But should be fun, man. The RBC Canadian Open is always a fun tournament to watch. Ontario, Canada, TPC, it should be cool. But hey guys, we appreciate you watching this episode of Golf and Gospel. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties, more so on my part, because my wife even said the internet was acting weird downstairs. But yeah. So this is me and Nate, man. Again, like, subscribe. Rate us on Spotify. Check out the videos on YouTube. And also, hey, go check out my episode with Hailee Cooper, man. She just finished top 10 in the Women's U.S. Open. And, hey, guys, we'll see you on the next episode of Golf and Gospel. We're going to be breaking down the Men's U.S. Open, man, which is going to be super fun. So, yeah, we'll see you guys.
Let's go.
Peace. Yeah.
Peace.